Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the latest Game and Talk podcast. I am RGT85. As always, I'm joined by Josie Woe. Josie, how we doing?
So good. Hyped for the topics of today.
Hyped for the topics of today. At some point, Nate will be joining us. We said 11:30 on the dot. It's 11:37, and I'm tired. I don't feel like waiting around for him. So we got a couple different topics that we'll be delving into today, talking about the Switch 2 hysteria, what games we're looking forward to in the month of October, and then a debate on a certain franchise and what the best game is in that certain franchise's subsect of a genre. But kick things off, got to talk about the Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo, because things have been getting pretty crazy. We had a developer of a game allegedly say that they were going to be bringing their game over to the Nintendo Switch 2, and a lot of people ended up getting in a hoopla over this. Videos were made, articles were written. I made a video on it, but I said to use caution, because with these companies, people could say whatever. Josie could say, hey, I have a game. I'm making a game. It's coming out on the Switch 2. A smaller studio, they don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? A one-man team that's made like 2 games before, they don't have a dev kit. They don't have a spec sheet. But people just seem so hungry for any sort of Switch 2 morsel. Why do you think that is, Jose?
I just think that people were led on for so long with the idea of a Switch Pro that everyone's like, okay, if we're not getting that, we need something else. And I think people, like you said, are just grabbing on to any sort of information there is, even though most of it is like nothing information, shit that like you and I could totally say and people would still believe it, which is insanity to me.
People want to believe, you know what I'm saying? They want to, everyone wants to get in on the ground floor of it and, be a part of it. But I think some of that comes due to the success of the Switch's launch, the original Switch, and just how that sort of captivated games media. Like, I don't know if you probably weren't, because this was, 6+ years ago, but like when the Switch first came out, you could get like a carrying case and make a video on it and get like 50,000-60,000 views easy peasy.
It's crazy.
Like, because everyone was just so damn tired of the Wii U stuff, and they wanted to move on, and this was new and this was exciting.
Yeah, I think it's probably like that, but just for the next system is people just want something new and exciting again, because the Switch is cool, but we've had it for so long that everybody is a bit over the initial excitement. And guess who's joining us?
Oh, look. So Nate, we started recording because you're late as fuck. We are discussing the Nintendo Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo. Talked about the developer who said that they had it, and then of course, that wasn't true. Now we're more so talking about the bigger picture, and that's sort of the reason for the suspense and buildup around this unveiling or any sort of morsel of information. All right, Nate. Thanks for your input on that. He is here, but I guess he's here with us in spirit and not with a microphone yet. But no, I mean,
I only heard the end of your speech.
We're starting to record here, sir. We're 4 minutes in because you were late. So Electric 2 or Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo. Why is it you think everyone is just so hungry and clamoring for stuff on this?
I mean, it largely just comes down to the simple idea that the Switch 1 is aging. It's old hardware, it's unexciting. People are looking forward to what is next. We have all moved on to next generation systems, be it the PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series. We are seeing the games that are coming to those platforms, and we want something new from Nintendo. And it's not to say that the current Switch isn't exciting in its own way, but you always get hungry and anticipate something new and exciting. And that's what you're looking for with the Switch 2. So whenever there's even a morsel that can be, you know, perceived as a rumor, people are going to cling on it. They're going to inflate it into something bigger than it truly is. And you just generate that hype cycle largely based on nothing, at least at the current time. And I think that's really it. It's just continued to be a carnival of crazy when it comes to Switch 2 as people want to build that hype and anticipation over something that they don't know much about. So they're trying to force things into existence through sheer force of will to generate some sort of discussion and speculate on what could be instead of what may be.
That was very deep and profound, honestly. What could be instead of what might be, or whatever the fuck you said. I don't know. I kind of zoned out a bit. Um, do you? This is a question I have for both of you, which I kind of had to explain a bit to Josie. But when the Switch first came out, and there was all that hype with the system, and like you could talk about a fucking random indie game and get 50, 60,000 views just talking about that. Do you think that the successor system will see that sort of success on a content front? Because I don't think the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, although they did release during a pandemic, so things were kind of different. But after like those initial videos for the system, like talking about the systems themselves, I don't feel like it had that same sort of, I guess longevity would be the word, where people were clinging on to any sort of stuff related to these systems, whether it was games or accessories or controllers. It didn't feel quite the same to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it will come down to there's just a lot of more content creators who are covering the topic. So there's a little bit of a, you know, I guess you say it's watered down a little bit. It's diluted due to that, but it's also coming off the Wii U, which was a disaster. So you were hoping that Nintendo was going to have something new. And when you saw an indie game that may have skipped the Wii U, or maybe something that you would have deemed impossible to come over to a Nintendo platform, it generated a lot of excitement. Now going from Switch to Switch 2, I think you have a new baseline, and that baseline is anything is possible. So when you see an announcement of a game, let's use like a Red Dead Redemption for an example, it's almost an expectation that that game would be coming to a Nintendo platform now, whereas back in the Wii U, you would never have expected that type of game. So remember the hype when Doom 2016 was announced for Switch. Everyone was excited. Everyone wanted to see what the game would look like running on this hybrid platform. Now going into Switch 2, I think people have a better understanding or idea of what we're going to get from a visual and performance standpoint, which generally right now the thought process is something at least PlayStation 4 level before enabling DLSS. And you can look at some of the PlayStation 4 games, like The Last of Us Part 2, still visually very pleasing, or God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West. And when you look at those games, you kind of just get that image in your head of if we can get this on the Switch too, this is going to be exciting. And then any third party announcements I think are just an expectation at this point. Going into the Switch 2, I would say a lot of people are anticipating games like Elden Ring, Resident Evil 4 Remake, all types of titles of that caliber are just a given now. And maybe you'd be more surprised if those games didn't come to the platform as opposed to coming to the platform, which is where we found ourselves with the Switch back when it was revealed in late 2016 and games were announced in 2017 and beyond.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, but it's just there was so much hype after the Wii U because people wanted to see Nintendo succeed. Plus, it was like an entirely new thing. Like there wasn't really handheld consoles at that time, or like hybrid consoles, and so the cross of them and stuff, and all those new games that Nintendo gamers have never experienced was very exciting. I think the Switch 2 could do similar things. Just depends on, I guess, how successful or like how different it ends up being, maybe. But from the looks of it, Switch 2 videos seem to get a good amount of views on YouTube still.
Yeah, I think it'll still be, because like Nate said, there's gonna be that there was that wonder with the Switch and how like a game like Doom would look. I still think you're going to get that, honestly, because people are going to be comparing it to what's, on PlayStation 5 and like if Resident Evil 4 remake comes to the Switch 2, I think people are going to be very interested to see how it looks and performs on the system still. Like I still think there will be that level of curiosity, maybe not as high, but I mean I remember like freaking you remember Kamiko that came out very early on the Switch. It was a top-down game. It was $5.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it wasn't a very visually people ate that up because it was such an early game to the system. Super Bomberman, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. It was literally Street Fighter 2. I remember doing a preview video of it on my main channel because at that time we still had a connection with Nintendo because I was working for the website. And I was like, well, I'll do the preview video on my personal channel and then I'll do the review on the Nintendo Enthusiast channel. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. The higher ups, the brass. And like I remember that video got like 80,000 views because people wanted to see what the game looked like. And I was like, holy fuck, it's Street Fighter. Like I don't know. It's just it seems like it's something about Nintendo systems that people just have this morbid curiosity about because you expect it to be lesser than what other systems are doing just because of their how they handle their hardware.
Yeah, I mean, that's where when you looked at the Switch launch year, there was a lot of interest in the performance of something like NBA 2K or even FIFA. So if you put up gameplay or you just talked about those games, you were getting huge views on YouTube. Or even if you're doing written articles, people were checking it out because it did come down to how does it perform to the HD twins of the PS4 and the Xbox One. But going to the Switch 2, that curiosity will certainly be there because you're going to see a lot of comparisons of, like you mentioned, Resident Evil 4. If it comes to the platform, you're going to see, well, how does it look with DLSS and how does it compare to the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series version? And if it outperforms it in some way, people are going to say, wow, this little hybrid system due to NVIDIA technology is comparable to these significantly more powerful systems. And that's going to be a hot topic for, those first few years. And I think with the Switch, the only reason it died down is because it just became familiar. You knew what to expect from like an NBA 2K. It never really evolved that much beyond those opening couple of entries. It set the baseline fairly fast early in the system. And maybe it goes back to just how games are developed now. You and I remember getting early games, be it on the N64 or GameCube, and then comparing the games towards the later half of a generation, and we saw huge visual leaps. You can even go to the PlayStation 3, look at Uncharted, and then look at Uncharted 3 or even The Last of Us. The visual enhancements are massive. I don't think we really experienced that with the Switch. And you can look to Breath of the Wild and look at Tears of the Kingdom. Some refinements here and there, but overall, I think there's a lot of similarities. But going to the Switch 2, there will be that excitement where you want to see how it stacks up to the other consoles. And that will generate a lot of interest for, probably the first 24, maybe 36 months.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the original question of like, is the Switch going to, or is the Switch 2 going to do the numbers of the Switch? I think a big reason that the Switch had so many views and so many people were looking at like these smaller indie titles was because after they beat Breath of the Wild and they played the Nintendo Game of the Month, they want more to play on the Switch. And at that beginning, the lineup, it was full, but it wasn't like there was tons and tons to play where it was overwhelming like it is now, so people were constantly looking for new things to check out as well.
You had the Bomberman and
Yeah.
has been Heroes. I mean, that's a classic. Come
Yeah, you
on.
had
Well,
Fast
exactly.
RMX.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I love Fast RMX.
Fast RMX was a good game. Was a
Yeah, it
very
was one
good
of the
game.
best looking launch games. And I think what's going to be interesting is over the course of the Switch generation, we have become accustomed to the idea of playing certain games now in a portable setting that was never possible before, like The Witcher 3. Now there is some competition in a very light way, be it the ROG Ally, Steam Deck, what have you. But do you feel as though there is the potential that as the Switch 2 comes out, that there will be select games that you will always opt to play for on your Xbox or your PS5 just due to the visual fidelity that those platforms are going to give a title. So let's use like Resident Evil 7. Would you buy it on your Switch too, even if it performs admirably in comparison, or would you prefer to play it on your PlayStation 5 or Xbox due to, native 4K 120 hertz support? How would you go about that? Because I think a lot of purchases for the Switch, like a Doom 2016, were curiosity purchases to see how well it ran in a portable setting. And has that magic faded at all over the course of the last 6 years?
I mean, I think it definitely has a little bit because I bought Doom 2016, but then I haven't really bought any of these other like Wonder ports, from the Switch because there's better ways to play them.
I still think the curiosity level is there though. Like for people to see, just what it looks like in comparison. I'm speaking from a content
Right.
creator standpoint because I
Right.
still see, certain games like Red Dead. People were super interested to see how Red Dead was. Like
Mhm.
it kind of depends on the game, and it probably won't be quite as as widespread as it was with the original Switch. But who knows, man? There's more people. There's more people interested in stuff like games now than there was 6+ years ago. So it'll be interesting to see. Just something I've been thinking about with that though, and I wanted to bring up. But speaking of things worth bringing up, I've got some video games coming out in the month of October. I gave you fine folks a list of games, and I want to know what are some of the games that are coming out in October. Okay, give me your top 3 out of the list. Give me your top 3 that you're definitely gonna get or interested in. Start with
Uh,
Jose.
okay, I'm gonna say obviously Super Mario Bros. Wonder. It's number one. Number two is actually Detective Pikachu, and I know it looks bad. I just want to play it. And then I'll probably check out Gargoyles Remastered.
Now, okay, Super Mario Wonder. All right,
A banger.
I get that. Um, Detective Pikachu. You gotta explain this to me.
I mean, I just like Pokemon, and I know it's looks bad, and it probably not gonna be great, but I like visual novel games as well. Like, I have fun with them, and I like them casually. So even though it looks kind of like shit, I feel like it's a game that I'll play in handheld and have a decent-ish time with.
Did you play the first one?
A little bit. I haven't finished it, but I've had it on the 3DS, and it's kind of fun, and I like the movie. So yeah. I mean, I don't have a great reason for buying it, to be honest. I will.
It's kind of and Gargoyles. All right, why that?
Well, I like the Disney show a lot, and I like when Disney brings back their old IPs and makes fun games out of them, and or like remasters of their old games. So I feel like I'm probably gonna support it. Plus, it's probably not gonna be $60.
No, I think it's
Yeah,
$20.
see, 20 is just like a
No,
oh yeah, 30
$20.
bucks. Yeah, it's like an auto buy though,
Now
honestly,
I gotta
because
look it up. Now we gotta look it up here. Price point. We have an announced trailer. We have the physical version from Limited Run Games. And the digital version, does not have a price yet on Steam.
interesting.
$14.99.
Yep, immediate purchase.
Yeah, that's a good price, especially with the different graphical style. I was never a huge Gargoyles fan because like Gargoyles kind of came and took off on Fox Kids when I was like getting a little bit older and I wasn't watching as many cartoons.
Okay.
So
I was
you were not born.
I was not born. I was getting into like animation when I was like 15 cuz like I was like that's what I want to do with my life. So I got really into it and I watched a bunch of old Disney cartoons and that was like the main one that I watched, that and DuckTales. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." But I like studied it. I like didn't watch it. I like studied the animation technique.
Well, see, now I'm kind of lying because the game came out in 95. I was only 10. Why didn't I watch
Shit.
Gargoyles? 'Cause I was into Power Rangers and shit then. That's weird.
I mean, didn't it air in the same block as X-Men?
It was a Fox show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it would
I
have.
remember it being on Fox Kids, and I'm pretty sure it aired right alongside X-Men back then.
Why did I not watch Gargoyles?
Just like not on your radar?
I don't know. I
Weird.
am perplexed right now because I always thought that I was like 12 or 13 when it came out, but I definitely was not.
Hmm.
So now I'm gonna have to do a lot of soul searching. And
Yeah. And you lied in your video. You have to make an apology.
yeah, I did because I definitely said
Yeah.
that could be my video for tomorrow because I don't have one. I lied and I'm sorry, and I'll like drag it out to like be this whole big thing.
And play the ukulele.
I have a guitar. I have several guitars. I could play that.
Yes, please.
All right, so those are Jose's picks. Nate, how are we feeling? What are we looking at here? Give me a top 3, and like I had to lead Josie. Please give me explanations.
Well, you have the obvious with Mario Wonder. Really, no explanation needed there. I think I'm going to get Sonic. Looks like a nice 2D Sonic game. Maybe it won't rival that of Sonic Mania, but it seems to be doing a lot of things right. So it has my interest. And then I think I'm going to pick up the Batman Arkham collection because Arkham Asylum is a fantastic game. I'd like to experience in a handheld mode, and I'd like to go through Arkham City. Arkham Knight, I think, is going to be dependent on the performance, but I think that might be one of those games that we kind of touched on earlier, that curiosity factor. I want to see how Arkham Knight can run in a handheld setting because it's a fairly demanding game, especially with the Batmobile. And it may not be a game I go through to completion, but probably dabble in the first few hours just to explore Gotham, do a few of the iconic starting missions. But primarily, my interest would, kind of rest with Asylum and City. And then a fringe candidate is the Metal Gear Solid collection. But given the quality of it, I may just opt to purchase Metal Gear Solid 2, maybe Metal Gear Solid 3 as standalone individual titles from the eShop and experience them that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna. I have to buy it, obviously, because it's Metal Gear, but definitely some disappointment. For me, my list is honestly pretty similar to yours. Except, I mean, Sonic Superstars, I'm excited for. I'll get that on the Switch because it's gonna be 60 frames. They confirmed that the Switch version is 60 frames, so it'll at least run just as well as the other versions, hopefully, if there's no slowdown. I'm gonna go with an outlier game though here. Game that's on nobody's radar, yet I'm interested in. The Grinch Christmas Adventure. Look,
What?
it's a Grinch game. It's based on the Dr. Seuss artwork, so it's the original artwork.
Is it hand drawn?
No, like the characters look like Dr. Seuss drew them, not fucking Jim Carrey's shitty movie. Yes, I said it. I hate that movie.
That's exactly what I asked. Is it hand drawn and it is.
Well, I mean, it's not like a hand drawn art style, but it's the same.
It looks like that movie they did a few years ago. It was like DreamWorks or
Oh
something.
yeah.
It looks like that one.
Illumination did that one, yeah.
Yeah, it has a similar look to that.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like the original too, though. That's why I want it.
Yeah,
because it looks like there's a little trailer for it. It's a 2D platformer. You get to be the Grinch, little Grinch dog, kick Cindy Lou Who in the head.
Did you just say the little Grinch dog? You don't know his name?
I forget, man. It's late.
It's Max.
YouTube.com/Little Grinch Dog. But yeah, I will be picking that up. And unfortunately, because my viewers hate me, I did a like challenge on my my video talking about the Switch games for October. And the reward was, if we hit the like challenge, that I would review Skull Island Rise of Kong. I like monkeys. I like dinosaurs. I like King Kong. This looks atrocious. This looks like somebody shit in a bucket and then like stirred it up and then made a video game out of it. Because I don't know, man. It looks very low budget, but now I have to play it. So like, out of all these games, like, I'll be looking at Arkham Trilogy, Grinch, Sonic, stupid Skull Island, Gargoyles, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Fuck, that's a lot of damn games I gotta play. And like, those are all between the 13th and the 24th. All of those come out. Jesus Christ.
I'm looking at the Grinch game, and you know what? It doesn't look that bad.
It's a $30 game too.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad.
I think there's some real potential there. Because has there ever been? There was a Grinch video game.
There's one on like the GBA, I think, because I'm pretty sure I played that when I was a kid.
Oh, it's $40. No, there was one. Okay, there was one on the PlayStation. That's the one I remember, and it was the fucking Jim Carrey style looking Grinch. So I never played that because I was like, fuck that. It was made by Konami, actually. Yeah, it's based on the movie. And then they did a Game Boy Color port, but it was only in Japan. And I believe that's really the only one.
One of the top comments on the Grinch Christmas Adventure gameplay trailer is Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield never had a chance.
They really didn't, though. Oh, they also ported that Grinch game to the Dreamcast, youtube.com. Yes, I think, see, Dr. Seuss Enterprises. And that's a good looking Grinch, you know?
No, it doesn't look bad.
Who's the company behind it? Outright Games. Okay. Let's take a look at Outright Games. See what they've published. Family-friendly video games publisher. They're British. That's one
Yikes.
strike. They did. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm looking at their game lineup.
Jumanji, Baby
Oh,
Shark,
yikes.
Bluey. What's this Transformer? Oh, there's a Transformers game coming out in the month, and on the 13th. I didn't even look at it because I was never a Transformers kid.
They did the Paw Patrol movie. Sorry, or game.
Let's see this. Oops, the music was playing, so now you heard a snippet of music. All right, so he turns into a little car. He's driving around, and he gets up, platforming. What's the dude's name? The yellow guy, Optimus.
So they make all the
Bumblebee.
like kid games.
Yeah, Bumblebee Tuna. I mean,
They made a Coco Melon game, a Bratz game, Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol.
Well, they publish, but yeah,
but
I mean, they published
JoJo
a
Siwa.
JoJo Siwa game.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
I mean, I got some concern now about the Grinch.
Justice League Cosmic Chaos.
Was that good?
I don't think it was bad.
They also published Ryan's Rescue Squad, and I know how you feel about Ryan.
That's a fine franchise. Fast and the Furious, Spy Racers, Rise of the Shifter with the 3 in it.
Seems like you're like losing hope as you're reading these games.
That Addams Family game. The Addams Family game was mediocre. Mansion Mayhem. I just didn't like the art style.
They did Gigantosaurus, the game.
How was that? That was a racing game, wasn't it? Oh, they did a DreamWorks Spirit, Lucky's Big Adventure. It's a horse game with children riding horses. Zoids was okay,
Yikes.
wasn't it? What about...
Didn't you play one of the Jumanjis?
I think I was supposed to, and I never did. Ice Age, Scrat's Nutty Adventure?
What did you say to me?
Ice Age, Scrat's Nutty Adventure. Okay.
Yikes.
Dragons, Dawn of the New Riders, Adventure Time, Pirates of the something. I can't read. That's a big word. Encridian. I think that was an okay. Look, I'm just looking for mediocre here. Ben 10.
Oh, that wasn't like a bad beat 'em up, actually. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't the worst.
What'd you play it on Switch?
Yeah.
Okay, like Ben 10 looks. That's what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for a solid 6 experience from the Grinch, and I feel like this company can provide me with that. You know
All right,
what I'm saying?
So the developers of the Switch game is Casual Brothers
Oh,
Limited.
in casual, dude, they're pretty much like Nintendo. Casual Brothers Limited. Casualbrothers.com. This is an outsourcing team. Oh no, they do games. Maybe. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, Casual Brothers
Yikes.
Limited's on Moby Games. So Casual Brothers. Oh, they did Evil Dead. That was a fine game. Like, it wasn't great, but it was fine. Transformer
Yikes.
Battlegrounds on Stadia. They did the Addams Family. That was a mediocre game. Okay, you know what? I'm giving this a chance.
This is reaffirming your faith. It's crazy.
I'm looking at their portfolio. They did Three Skulls of Tolotec's Orc Attack on the Xbox 360.
Wait, no, I'm thinking of Troll, one of the worst games.
Oh,
Troll and I?
Yeah.
That was Maximus Games, I think, who did that. I am just looking for a decent Grinch experience. We have not gotten one in video game form before, and I feel like this will bring it to us. I have some faith in this game.
I look forward to your review.
Oh, I'll be reviewing it. I hopefully can get a review copy. I might have to send them a little message ski and be like, hey, I'm a Grinch fan, but not the stupid Jim Carrey. Dude, I remember watching the Jim Carrey movie, and I went with my family. It was like on Christmas Day or the day after Christmas or Christmas Eve. It was one of those. And after that movie was done, we were like getting up, and I was like, this movie sucked. And my mom just like pinched me really hard. And I was like, it did suck. I hated it. It wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. I know that people are like, this is the best movie ever. Shut up. Doesn't
I
touch
kind
the
of like
original.
it.
Doesn't touch the original.
I mean, no, but it's like its own different thing, and it expanded on it a lot. It was kind of funny.
Jim Carrey was jumping the shark there.
Now, here's a real question, though.
What?
Do you think John has ever seen The Grinch or would recognize any music from The Grinch?
No.
Because as you and I both know, when we sang Silver and Gold, he had no idea what movie it was from.
No, he's an idiot. So I don't think he would
Oh
know.
my God.
I honestly don't think he would know. He is an idiot, Josie. You'll learn that as time goes on.
Okay.
Our final topic was actually brought to us by Jose. She wants to have a little debate ski. I think this could be an ongoing thing for this channel where we take a game and we look at its franchise, all of the games in its catalog, and we pick what is the best game of that franchise. But if it's a large franchise, you might have to break it down a little bit. Josie, why don't you tell people what we're going to be debating today, and then state your game and your case.
Okay. Today we are debating what is the best 2D Mario, and that like encapsulates the originals, like the first one through the SNES, and then the new Super Mario Bros. Line and all that kind of stuff. And the game that I am saying is the best 2D Mario is Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, because if you look at it, this isn't like the main reason, but it's just impressive how far that game pushes the console that it's on. Looking at the original game, Super Mario Bros., and then this one, it's like night and day. A beautiful sprite design, fun new power-ups, and like a fleshed out whole world. And then on top of that, every other Mario game since Mario Bros. 3 has, at least 2D wise, has been fairly derivative of it, you know? 2D Mario set those standards of great power-ups, amazing platforming, and it's pretty challenging, like, if you go back through it, which is something that I think that some of the later 2D Marios have fallen off a bit on, and I think it's something that gives it a lot of originality and makes people want to come back just to challenge themselves to see if they can still get through it. I'm playing through it again for like the third time, and it's a pretty great game.
It's a good case. Any debates? Any sort of pushback, Nate?
It was a very well thought out explanation of why Mario Bros. 3 could be seen as the best 2D Mario game.
Could be, because it's not
Could be.
mine. Not mine.
It's not mine. I am fond of it though, for many of the reasons you stated.
Really good game.
Mhm.
Really good game.
But I believe the best 2D Mario game arrived on the Super NES, and it is known as Super Mario World 2.
Oh my
Yoshi's Island.
fucking god! Get the fuck! I
What?
can't even play that
That's
game.
a Yoshi game. That's a Yoshi game.
It's titled Super Mario World 2.
Okay.
State your
Mario.
case, because I'm not sold on this. This wouldn't even be in my top 10.
As you experience the game, not
And
even
the
just
crying
narrative. Yes, a minor nitpick in game design. But the level design, the stages, the worlds, the bosses, the mid bosses, just the grading system, the bonus levels, everything is just perfectly crafted for a masterpiece of a 2D Mario. Red coins, the flowers. The game allows you to explore in so many ways, so much verticality. You go into the heavens, you go underground. The game revolutionized 2D Mario design. And that's why it took so long for Nintendo to come out with New Super Mario Brothers, because they knew they had hit the pinnacle of
Fuck off.
perfection for
No
Super
way.
Mario World 2, that they had nowhere to go. They had to look inward and say, how can we possibly match and surpass what we had crafted on the Super NES all those years ago? And it gave birth to Baby Mario,
Yeah.
a character so iconic. It has been in countless Mario Kart games ever since. And it gave us Bowser Jr., Baby Bowser, and one of the best, most iconic boss battles in the Mario franchise, as you're sitting there and he's marching towards you and you're hurling eggs towards him and you're bouncing him back. You fight Kamek and so many other iconic Mario villains in just a masterpiece of a game. And then you have the drug stage where you hit the puffers and the game goes all visually loopy and the music gets weird and you're walking sideways. You don't know up from down, side to side. It is a game that stays with you. And yes, there is a little bit of sarcasm here, but I do believe it is in the top 3 2D Mario games of all time, but it sits toe and toe with Super Mario World 1.
I'd like to rebuttal.
Go on, please.
So you said that a lot of those mechanics have become staples of the Mario franchise, right?
They have.
Right. But wouldn't you say that more of the mechanics of Super Mario Bros. Oh my God, Super Mario World 2 has gone on to be in the Yoshi games, the Yoshi spin-off games like Crafted World, Yoshi's Story, I think on the N64. I feel like a lot more mechanics have transferred into those games than have into future Mario titles.
Yes, that is true. I mean, that may largely be because they just hit that pinnacle of perfect Mario design. So they had to lend it off to a lesser franchise like the Yoshi franchise so they could try to elevate it into relevance because they just didn't know where to go. And that's where the game just has that identity crisis where so many consider it a Yoshi game, despite its title, Super Mario World 2. So, see, the game itself even suffers an identity crisis that no one knows where to classify it, and that is why it's elevated above all other Mario games. It stands on its own. It created its own franchise because it was so good.
Shit.
Now, with that being said, it's time for the real best 2D Mario game. This may come as a shock to you. However, I feel that in terms of pushing the Mario genre, in terms of something that Nate said, introducing new characters, and in terms of how you sort of can progress through certain Mario games, this game exemplifies that because it was the first to do many of those things. I, of course, am talking about Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. Example A, a free roaming area where you could go to any fucking level you want at any fucking time. Exhibit B, the introduction of Wario, a true staple, unlike Baby Mario, a true iconic character, and his debut was in this game. Exhibit 3, the soundtrack to the game. Holy Christ on a cracker. No Mario game has a better soundtrack than that game. I don't care what anyone says. The fucking Star Maze level. Hidden levels. Multiple difficulties, too, if you wanted to cheese it. The cool thing where you got the coins and you put the coins in the slot machine and you would get something. The ability to get a power-up at the end of a level on the little conveyor belt thing if you went to the higher-up bell instead of the low bell. Perfection. It's a little on the short side. I'll give you that. But holy hell. It did things that the console Marios weren't doing at that time. Like, come on, dude.
See, I almost went with that for my choice as well. But I just had to give it to Yoshi's Island.
No. Josie, have you played Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins?
Oh, I have. I love it. I think it's a great Mario game.
Why is it not better than Mario 3, in your opinion?
I just think that Mario 3 did more that has gone on to affect, I guess, the franchise as a whole. Yes, we had some really cool things in Mario Land 2, like Wario, and it was a really great handheld Mario experience, but I think it's still a handheld Mario. Like, it was fairly short. It wasn't too, like, the levels, they weren't too different, I guess. It felt like...
Yeah, whoa.
No, I'm saying, like, from...
You had the tree zone. You had
but you had that stuff in Mario Bros. 3, sort of, right? So it's like...
You had the Halloween one.
It's true. But I mean, it had, like, cool design. It had some cool stuff, but...
Had the underwater one, where you got a little Mario helmet.
Oh, joy. Underwater.
You got the one where Mario's mad tiny and everything's big.
But you have that in Mario Bros. 3.
That's fine. I was just giving you one to...
I'm just saying, like, I think that it's a cool handheld experience, but in my head, it's very much a handheld experience. And it doesn't really stand toe-to-toe with something like Mario Bros. 3, which has gone on to be the blueprint of 2D Mario games.
But did Super Mario Bros. 3 have Wario in it?
No, and I'll give you that. That's a good point to you. I mean, Wario's cool and all, but like what?
But how many 2D Mario games have had Wario in it since then?
Not enough.
Not counting, Wario's own games, just mainline 2D Mario games.
Not enough. Stupid.
Doesn't sound too iconic to me. While Yoshi, Yoshi has become a staple.
It is iconic. Well, Yoshi was already a staple with Super Mario World, first and foremost.
True.
It's because they realize they can't match that great. Like, really, Wario should be the main villain in Mario games, in my opinion. Like, it shouldn't be Bowser.
I think it should swap between the two, yeah.
Or if you're old King Koopa. You know what? That's how you differentiate what kind of Mario game you're getting. If it's Bowser or if it's Wario that's running it. Because you could do so much kind of playing into that to make them have their own styles and stuff like that, Like, I guess so. Like a Bowser based one would be more your traditional. Oh, look, you've got your grass level, you've got your sand level and that sort of stuff. And then the Wario stuff is where you get creative, like your Halloween, your spooky thing with like where you're in the fucking mansion part, or like the weird underwater thing or in space, like that you fight a space. What's the space alien's name? Wart? No, his name wasn't Wart. What the fuck was the space alien's name?
Yeah.
Space alien. How do I beat him? You fucking jump on his head. I don't think he had a name. Oh wait, Tatanga. See, that's almost like Topanga.
Boy Meets World.
Oh dear God.
Dude, she's so hot.
Oh God, why are we getting into that right
Like,
now?
if it was like, yeah,
Oh my God.
he's an ultimate spirit. Oh, wait.
Give me like an argument as to why this game is more important than Mario Bros. 3, other than Wario. Is that all this game has?
Freedom.
Freedom is cool, but has that gone on to be anything in 2D Mario? No.
Yes.
Where?
In the fact that you could skip levels.
That's been around since the first Mario and in Mario Bros. 3.
No, that's a warp. A warp is different than actually just skipping the level because you don't feel like playing it and going to the next level. And then you
can
have
do that in Mario Bros. 3. There's 2 ways to go sometimes, a little bit of crossroads. You
That's
choose one that
true.
you'd like to go to, and then
yeah, but it's not the same. It's not
Yeah,
the
but-
same.
Yeah, you could get keys. You could open up the shortcuts, and you use the warp pipe. Then use the P-wing.
Yeah, but it's
Use
not
the flute.
It's not the same. It's not ingrained. You have to do extra shit to get to that point. With Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, you don't do a damn thing. You just go. There's nothing blocking you. There's nothing saying, "Oh, you need this flute to stick up your ass and this, that, and the other." No, you just go. You just
but like, how has that impacted the Mario franchise? Like, where else do they do that?
in select Mario games. Maybe when you're older, you'll
Some
You'll
of which
realize
can't
that.
be named because you don't know.
I'm not here to lecture you. I mean, I'm here to mansplain to you. I'm not trying to get canceled here. Like,
What?
It's a debate.
I'd love to know where you're getting these other Mario games that are freeform, because I
there's-
would like to play them.
well, you know what? Maybe Nintendo realized that not only did they, did they perfect Wario in a 2D Mario game with that, but they also perfected the free roam aspect in it. And they were like, you know what? We're just gonna leave it to this greatness.
I mean,
we
I
can't
think I could agree with that.
we can't climb this mountain high enough again. Like, there's no way.
And you see, Super Mario World 2 has left such a lasting impact. When you look at the visual, artistic design and direction of Mario Wonder, you can see that it harkens back to Yoshi's Island.
That is true.
Yeah, that's the one
I
thing
think
I
we
don't like
should-
about the game.
Wow. You just owned him. I think personally we should leave it up to the listeners to decide who won the debate.
I swear to God, I will quit this show if you don't pick Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. Listeners.
Insanity.
They need to. They understand. They understand what the greatness is. I wish you could do polls on a YouTube video,
Like in the
That'd be fun.
comments.
Yeah, like
I think we'd have to like make it a premiere or something.
Yeah,
We
no,
could like
we're not-
make it
we're
a
not doing
community
all that.
post.
Yeah.
We could do that after it airs, yeah.
You have access to it, Nate?
I do not have access to the YouTube channel.
You gotta
Fake.
rely on shithead John to actually do something for once in his life. Besides make a clickbait video about Knights of the Old Republic. Anyways,
Choose wisely, listener. You know in your heart which
You know.
which 2D Mario game has revolutionized the genre, and you know it is Yoshi.
Interesting.
would you like to give a final closing argument?
Yes, I think that it's undeniable the importance of Super Mario Bros. 3, and if you guys have any respect for where Mario has come from, I think it's important that you realize that I did win this debate, and that's what I'll leave you with. Mario Bros. 3 for the win.
Wow.
And my closing argument will be vote for Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, or I'll fucking kill you. I swear to
Wow.
God.
Wow.
While my two participants in this debate have presented strong arguments, and you can tell by their final statements that they are just shaking in terror of how this will go, we can look at where Mario has come from and where Mario is going. And yes, Super Mario Brothers 3 was revolutionary in its day, if not perfected when we had Mario All-Stars with the updated sprites and other mechanics. Then we have the Golden Coins, a fantastic Mario game, revolutionized the handheld Mario genre for all eternity. But when you look at Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and what it did from an artistic standpoint, a gameplay standpoint, a narrative standpoint, character standpoint, it is undeniable. that this showed us the future of 2D Mario games. And as said, that is why it went on a hiatus for near 20 years. And only now, with Mario Wonder, are they able to look at what they created and maybe bring it back in a modern setting. Thank you, listener, for your time, and I appreciate your vote of confidence and support upon hearing this episode.
And with that compelling speech, we will be wrapping things up here. Good show. I think the debate portion is we might have to do that at least once every 2 shows, maybe once every show if there's not a lot of shit that's happening. Thank you guys for supporting the Patreon. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're actually kicking around a new show idea. When we hit a certain, well, I don't know, we might do it before then, but something interesting, something that's a bit interactive as well, and would spice up things not only on the network but potentially on Saturday nights as well. So I'll let you think about that and fester over it. I am our Uncle Fester. Fester's Quest. That's a game that it shouldn't get as much shit as it does. Sunsoft game, good graphics, good soundtrack, very confusing, yes, but I still think it's a solid game. I'm RGT85, joined as always by Josie Woe.
Thank you for having me.
And
excited to.
Yeah,
Oops.
Yeah, I'm cutting you off. And Nate the Hate.
Thank you for your continued support on the Patreon and with the debate, where we know we secured a W tonight.
Secured a L. All right. Catch y'all next time.